Okay, so something, right? I told yesterday, right, what we have covered in arrays is, with arrays part, we have already seen some of the methods. Those methods were like at, right? There was, okay, just a second. Okay, so right, so we have covered at method. We have covered the slice method, right? So slice is like you wanted to extract some information, right? So let me write. If you wanted to extract some information, this is what you will use, slice method. If you, again, at also helps you in that part only. You can extract some information at a particular index, right? So it will help you over there. There's a property called length, which gives you the length of the array. There was something called splice. Splice helps you to remove the items actually, right? And also gives you, uh, right? So let me say, right? So if you wanted to remove some items, right, from the array, instead of using slice, you should use splice, right? We talked about it yesterday. So the difference is this, right? It will have, this slice will have no impact on the original array. The original array will remain intact, but this splice, right, will extract the information from the array. But it when you're extracting it, try to understand, it is like deleting those items from the original array. So it mutates the original array, right? So whatever can mutate, right, I will write m there, right? So this can mutate, splice. There was one more method which was reverse, right? Again, it does not remove actually. So let me write operations, right? Which is like what we say, just to view the information, right? So let me write view operations, right? So you can do a reverse, right, which will just reverse the number, the items which you have in the array. It will like print, it will bring the last one to the first, and then, right, it will just reverse the order. Okay, so it will also mutate. Okay, it will also mutate the original array, so original array will get changed, right? Okay, so length, slice, add, splice, and reverse, these are the methods which we checked yesterday. Today, the methods, right, which we will do is, so this is like a view operation, right? Let me say some miscellaneous operations, right, which you can do. So one of the miscellaneous operations which you can do is concat. Okay, I'm just writing it right now. We will see, right? And whatever can mutate the original array, I will write m. So concat is one method, it will not mutate. Join is one more other method which we have to see. Okay, so it's like checking, right? Search, right? The search operation. If you want to do some search operations, what are the methods which you have in with yourself? You can use includes method. Okay, so there is a method called includes. There is a index of, right? If you wanted to get the index of a particular item, so you can get that. So there is one more method, last index of. Last index of. Okay, so these are those. So these are removes, right? Remove. Okay, so this is view, this is remove, this is extract. I mean, right, without tampering the original value. There are methods here which are like, so one method is called pop. Pop is a method which removes the items from the array, right? I think it removes the item from the end of the array, if I'm not wrong. I will check that, right? So, but it removes, right? So I will write pop here, okay? And it mutates the array. It removes the item from the array, right? See, I'm just telling you under different buckets. We will see them one by one also. I'm just trying to create a map here, right? I mean, so that it is easy for us to classify. So pop will mutate the original array. There is something called push, which will add the item to the array. So let me write add operations. We have not done that, right? Add operation. So if you want to do some, you wanted to add a new item to the array, you can do a push operation, right? This will also mutate the array, because your original array will, let's say earlier it was a 5 length, it will now become the array of 6 length, right? So it will push. There is something called shift and unshift, right? So the shift method is like your removal, right? But it removes from the beginning of the array, I believe, right? It removes from the beginning, so it again mutates the item, but this is the beginning part, right? And this is, I think, it removes the item from the end. Okay, so this is the difference between the two. Similarly, push, when you have unshift, right? Unshift here, right? There's a method called unshift which will also mutate the array, and again, I believe this will do at the beginning, and this will be in the end, right? The push part. So this is the difference between the two, but these two can be used to add the item to the array. Okay, what else we have? We have, okay, there are some special methods. Okay, let's say you want to sort the item array, right? You want to sort the array. So let me write here, right? Sort. Okay. So you can sort the array. If you have items, let's say string, you have string items. You want to sort them in ascending or descending order. You can do it through sort. Okay. And if you wanted to do it, uh, let's say even the numbers, right? If you want to do it, if you have all the numbers within the arrays as different items and you want to sort them, there is a method called sort which you can use, and the items would get sorted. And this will, I believe, this mutates the array. I believe so. Let me just check. Okay, yes, it mutates, right? So it also mutates the original array. Okay, so this is one thing. What else? There are something called this. There is something called very okay. There are something called data transformation methods. Data transformation methods within arrays, and there are three methods. Okay, there are three methods which we have to understand. One is called map. Okay, second is called filter, and third is called reduce. These are very important methods. Okay, mark my word, these are very important methods which are which are a part of the arrays within JavaScript, right? And you will see the usage of these. I mean, if you're creating the framework right in the right way, you will see a good amount of usage of these methods when you will be dealing with the data, right, on your framework side. Okay, but we will see the use case also, right? But these are very important methods. You will see all of these methods over here, right? And there is one more, but that is not a data transformation method. That is like another method which is a for each method. Okay, which is used to iterate all the items. Even all these works on by iterating all the items of the array one by one. But what I have to tell you here is that all these methods, right, all these methods, if you see as of now in all the above methods, right, they except this part, except sort, all of the other methods on top, right, except some inputs, right? Let's say the primitive data types, let's say int, right, or let's say some variables, right, it accepts as an input to those methods. But these five methods, map, filter, reduce, for each, and sort, right, all of them accepts a callback function. Okay, they accept a callback function. Now map does not mutate the original array. Filter does not mutate the original array. Reduce does not mutate the original array. For each does not mutate the original array. So it does, right? So these five methods are very important, right? And we should at least these four, right? We should have a good command on. Okay, so we'll discuss them in depth. But let's start from where we are, right? So let me put a tick mark, which we have already covered. So we covered the len, we covered the slice, we covered the at method, we covered the splice, we covered the reverse, right? So let's start with the some basic ones, right? Concat, join, includes, and all this, right? Shift, push, pop, and shift, unshift, right? And let's cover those first, right? Then we will move towards these five ones, which are very crucial, which we should be knowing, right? And I don't know, like if you have heard the term functional programming, right? This is a very buzzing word, right? Which people keep on saying, and you will understand what the functional programming is. I mean, you will get some sense of it. I'm not saying that I'm teaching functional programming here, but you will get some sense of it. Like, how does functional programming, what does it really mean, right? And with JavaScript, how easy it is to write in that way of writing the code. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let me start now. I will go to the terminal. Let me first check if I have anything. Okay, I have made some modifications, but let it be. I think this is okay, fine. Let me do a checkout, git checkout minus b day 11. Okay, now let me form a new file, day11.js. Okay, great. So day 11, right? Let's start with this method first, which was the sorry, what was the method I was talking about? Let's say concat and join, right? What does a concat method means? Again, as we know, right, concatenation, right? Concat means concatenation. You want to join two things together. So we are talking about, we have seen the concatenation operations in terms of strings, right? Where two strings joins together and you get an output, right? And you can save it wherever you want, right? Similarly, this is possible with arrays also, right? So there is a method with here which we get. Let me create it. So this is array one, let's say, right? And let me create the value, let's say 89, 56, 65, right? And 45, right? This is one array. Let me create one more array. Const array 2 equals to, this is let's say 90, 34, let's say 23, right? So these are the two arrays. Let me create one more. Const array 3 equals to, let's say 2, 8, and let's say 68. Okay, let's say these are the three arrays which we have with any random value. Let's say I want to join two arrays together, right? I want to form a single array from these two arrays, right? So how can I do that? You would look from the usual approach, let's say Java, right? What do you have to do? You will have to see, like, okay, this is the size of 4, this is the size of 3. Let me create a new array of 7 size, right? And then start iterating through both the arrays and start pushing them to the new array, right? This is what you could think of, right? At least one of the solutions. But in JavaScript, nothing of that is required. There are very handful methods which we get on arrays. You don't have to do anything much. You have to just say array one. You want to concatenate two arrays, right? Array one and array two. Just use concat. Read up. Okay, get into the habit of reading about at least the documentation, right? The part here, right? You can see additional arrays or items to add to the end of the array combines two or more arrays. This method returns a new array without modifying any existing arrays. So what does it mean is that it will not mutate the original array. It will not mutate array one. It will not mutate array two. It will just combine them together and form a new array, which is like array four, right? So let me give it here. Let me get it into array four. Okay, like this. So this, the end result of this operation is a new array, right? Whatever that could be. So I will print it out, console.log array 4, and let's run it. You can see, right? It joined both the arrays together, 1, 89, 65, 45, 90, 34, 23, right? So it joined all of them together. Okay, let me also show you. Okay, yes, Harish, please.
Akhil, yesterday you were saying that in Java we don't have reverse method, like by default, and in JavaScript we have the reverse method. So just like Java, do we have any libraries which we can import in JavaScript for additional methods?
Yes, yes, we will learn about them, right? These are called
Okay,
modules in JavaScript.
got it.
Okay, so these are
And
called modules in JavaScript. Yeah, please.
one more thing, when I run the same code in my machine, it gives me the length by default. I don't know why.
It gives you the length by default means, I mean,
Like if I'm doing the same thing, like yeah, array 4 is equal to array1 dot concat array 2, and uh, if I run it like with the array, it will give me the length also in bracket. Okay, so I'm like I'll ping you the output which I'm getting
okay, yeah,
in chat.
please share in this chat box. Let me see what are you getting. I would like to see. Or you can copy. Okay, let me see what result you get. Copy paste the code itself. Okay, you got 7
Yeah,
here, right? Okay,
yeah.
what?
So
Okay,
these are the inputs which I gave. So it is different, but initially, like before the output, it gives you the length also.
I
And
think
I'm on a Mac machine.
you're on a Mac machine. Okay, I will have to check. Okay, how are you running? You're running using this extension only.
No, I like run it through
You're
F5.
you're using Node.js. I mean, you're using
Yeah.
F5. Okay, let me run it. I think by default you will get that. Okay, when you are computing with the arrays, right, like this. I mean, if you do it on the Google Chrome also, right, that console tab, or if you do it here, I've seen that behavior on console tab. I think in Node.js also it works the same way. So what you are seeing is correct. Okay, that is the default nature. If you run it through Node or through that, I believe because I'm using this extension, right, to run my code, that's why it is not printing that size of the array.
Okay.
Otherwise, it generally prints. Okay. So that is, I mean, if you would expand that, right, it might show you the items differently. I think there would be an arrow button there, which might be
Ye-
showing. Let me
Yeah.
run it.
Yeah. It
right?
says no debugger available.
Okay, let me run it, right? Let me just comment this out first. These two things. And okay, here in my case, it is not doing this. Okay, how are you running by pressing F5 and you're using Visual Studio Code, right? Or no?
Right. Visual Studio Code.
Okay, let me say F5 here. Function F5. You're seeing like this, right?
Right.
Hello?
Right.
You're seeing like this, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a debugger mode, right? First of all. Okay, this is a debugger mode. Again, we have not discussed about debugging. So let's ignore it, right? But let me show you the same behavior over there, right? If you copy all this, right, and open the let me open the console tab. F12 bit price. Okay, let me open it from here. More tools, developer tools, console tab. Let me paste it here and run it. You see 7 here, right? This is how
Right.
it shows, right? So you're seeing
Right.
similar kind of a behavior because again, the way you are seeing in Node.js is row debugger mode, right? And even in the browser, right, you will see something like this only. Okay, so this is okay. This is the default nature of showing things right over there, and you can see you can expand here or here also. No debugger available, cannot send variables. Okay, we are not using a debugger. Okay, so that's why it is saying. We'll talk about debugging, right? But whatever you're saying is also fine, right? But
Got it.
I would suggest you, right? If don't use this way, right? I don't know, like I will see, right? How you can just run some things here, but if you want, right, just type node and give the file name here like this and run it, and your behavior would be same as mine.
Okay.
Okay, so you can do this way. We
Yeah, I
have to
see
discuss
the
about. Mhm.
yeah that the extension which you installed, so it like automatically saves your file. Initially, I did the same thing, but it was not automatically saving the file. So first, I have to save the file, then run it in Mac. That's why like I have to do the workaround of F5.
My extension is also not saving, I believe. Let me show you. See, let's say I have done array here, right? I'm not saving. If I run it, I don't think it saves this and then run it. You can see, right? It still printed it out.
Ah,
So it is not saving. I have to
okay,
manually
okay.
go and save this. And then if
Hmm.
I run it, now output would be different, right? You can see it said, okay, array, because there is no array here. It is array
Hmm.
4. Okay, I hope it makes
Yeah,
things clear, right?
thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's go back where I was. Output here, right? Okay, here. So what I was saying, yes. So you can see, right? I'm getting a new array, and the original arrays are not modified. They are not mutated. So this is how you can add the arrays together, right, and form a new array. You can see this is the output. The concatenated array. This is the array 1. This is array 2. Okay. Uh, what if I want to join more arrays together? Array 1, array 2, array 3 together. Very simple. Just go and keep on giving this way. Okay, you can just keep on giving number of arrays, whatever you want, right? Keep giving a comma and keep providing it. It will keep on adding them. And let me show you. Let me just save this. If you would see now, see the array, right? It has how many items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So everything is concatenated together. Okay, so I hope concat operation is clear, right? You can do this. See, again, it's not that I'm saying that it is very useful for you or you will find the usage of it. You might not, right? It depends completely on logic, but you should be knowing that there are methods which can help you in this way, right? Again, as I was giving the example, someone asked you to sum up the, let's say, uh, form a new array of by joining two arrays together. You should be knowing there is a method which you can use, and you can avoid doing any of creating the logic from the scratch by yourself, right? You can avoid that. Okay, one more thing. Whenever you're looking at a method, right, always try to see what it is returning, right? You can see it says once this operation will be done, right, it will return you an array of numbers. Why? Because you're currently holding numbers only, right? But the important point over here is that it will return an array. Okay, so since the return type of this method is an array, it's like because you're returning an array, right, you can still perform some other methods after this, right? So it is like this is Okay, see here, right? Can I do this array for, let's say, at and let's say 4a, right? I can do this, everyone. We learned that yesterday, right? I can do this.
Yes.
Using this, I can access the item at this item, right? At this element, at this index position. Similarly, I can access other elements. Let's say what all methods we have covered yesterday. Slice, right? Let's say slice. So you can see even I can slice this item, right? I can say the index. Okay, let's see start position, right? So I can give, let's say I want the item from 1 to 3, right? I want them, so I can collect them. So it will again return me what? An array, right? If you would see an array, right? An array of numbers. So I am able to write this code, and you agree that I can do this. So can't I go and add the same thing here and do this way? I hope everyone agrees this part also, right? Instead of doing it in separate line, I can chain the methods together and do it like this. But the chaining of the methods has to be, I mean, it should be supported, right? Since concat returns me an array as an output once it completes, right? So it means this entire thing is one array, right? And I can do more operations on the array. And one of the operation is slice, right? Now slice also returns me an array. You can see, right? So I can go ahead and do some other operations here also, right? So you can see if you put a dot, you will see all the methods coming from the arrays only. So this is called method chaining, right? This is called method chaining. You can chain multiple methods together in the array. Okay, not just in the arrays, in the strings also, right? This is applicable for anything. Okay, so you can do that way. If you remember in the strings, right? Let me create a variable of the string const str equals to, let's say, akiljan. We talked about one of the methods in string, which is split, right? Remember what does split do? If anyone remembers.
Divide the string on at the delimiter.
Right,
Specific.
and it creates what? What is the output?
A string.
No, it creates an array of strings.
Sorry, like yeah.
Right, it creates an array of strings, right? You can check here, right? It creates an array of strings. This is the written type, but eventually it is what? An array, right? An array. And when, if it is an array, okay, let me first split this out. So okay, what does it mean? Sorry, just a second. What inputs it needs? It needs a splitter, right? So let me say this, right? So it will create what? It will create two elements, right, of string type and create a new array, right? Everyone agrees? So I can do this console if I want to show you. Currently my focus is to just to tell you, like, there is something called method chaining, right? And I'm just trying to explain you like what it is, and I'm just trying to show you multiple examples of it. See, there's a string. If I use the, and on string you can call a method called split, and I am saying this thing, right, as a splitter. So it will see, okay, this is a splitter. So now from here, right, it will divide this complete string into multiple parts. So, and it will collect all the items which it could get and form an array. Okay. So now what I will get here is I will get an array of strings which will have two items, one Akhil and second is Jane, right? Let me run this. Right, you can see this. I've got an array from this, right? Now let me bring it out now. Right, so this is an array. So we understand this entire thing is result me an array. So since it returns me an array, I can go and access any method of the array, right? Right. So if I want to have, let's say, at method of the array, and I want to access the first item, what should I do? 0, right? I'm sure you understand all this. If you're seeing it for the first time, which is okay, right? But I just want to ignite that thought, right? That this is what you can do. Now, again, this is called method chaining. Depending on what kind of output your method returns, whatever output you get, right, whatever the type of it is, you can continue chaining it with the relevant methods, right? If it is returning me an array, I can start accessing the methods of array after this by using the dot operation. And what does add returns? Let's see. Add returns me a string. So even, okay, add returns me a string. Okay, so can I do something on strings now? Let's say I got this. So can I do something? What will I get? What methods will I get? I will get methods of string or methods of arrays now?
String.
You can
because it returns me string, right? So you can see these are all methods coming for string only, right? We have
Yeah.
discussed about them, right? Substring, start with, and all that, right? Uppercase, lowercase, trim, start, right? This is called method chaining. You're chaining multiple methods together, forming, I mean, creating your logic in like a single line. And this is a very powerful way of writing your code. Okay, you don't have to do a lot of things in different, creating separate blocks. You can keep on chaining, and things will keep getting evaluated. This is a part of functional programming itself. Okay, we'll talk more about it. Okay, but just try to understand this part. Okay, so this is called method chaining. Okay, let's come back to our original discussion, right? So what we covered? We covered the concat operation, right? So let me uh, do what? Let me comment them out, right? So we understood this part. So we understood the concat part. Okay, great. So let's go back. Let me close this here, right? We understood the concat part. Okay, so concat part is done. Let's talk about join. Okay, this is a very again simple method. You can see. Okay, let me create a constant first name equals to uh, Akhil, Anand, Chetan, right? And let's say Shailesh. Okay, so we have 4 items in this array, right? And if I print this, what will I get? I can just say console fn, and if I run this, okay, I need to clean this up, bring it down, move it up. Let me just save some space. You can see, right? I'm getting this, the entire array getting printed. Let's say I want to see all the items as one thing, right? Let me tell you what I mean. If I say this fn, right, dot, there's a method called join. Okay, let's see what it does. It says, first of all, see what it needs. It needs a separator, right? Okay, we'll talk about it. But what is the written type? It returns you a string, right? A string value, a single value, okay, which it will get. Now let's read it. It says a string used to separate one element of the array. So what is the one element? Let's say Akhil is one element, another is another element. So if I do this, it says, so it says a string used to separate one element of the array from the next in the resulting string. If omitted, the array elements are separated with a comma. Add all the elements of the array into a string separated by the specified separator string, right? Okay, let me just run it and let's show you like what is the output. If I run this way, right? If I do this, what will I get? Using this, I was getting this output. Let's see using join what we get. You see, you got this. What does it mean? What it did was it picked up the first value, it placed a comma after it, then took the next value, right, and kept on joining them, right? To it's like you're accumulating, right? But it is forming a string, right? It will result into a string, and this is what you will get, right? It will keep on adding them, right? By placing them. It is like you're joining the value. Okay. If you were having a numbers, right, what will you do? Let's say const nums, right? And you have values like 9, 8, 5, 0, right? And if I say nums.join, what it will do? What do you think? What will be the output?
9, 5, 8, 5, 0.
9, 8, 5, 0, right? This way only, right? Let's run this. You see? So what I'm trying to say is, whatever you get, right, it will start collecting it and keep providing a comma by default and keep on adding, right? Let's say I don't need a comma. I am expecting, let's say, I expect this space, right, within the values. If I run it now, it will get me what? It will be like this: 9, space 8, space 5, space 0. If I want to do it the same thing with the strings, right, you can see what will be the output. This is the output, right? I wanted to give a pipe sign, let's say, right? I want to give this a pipe sign, and if I run it, you see, you got this output. So I hope you're getting the point. Whatever items you have in the array, right, it will pick them one by one, keep on joining all the items together, right, by the separator which you will mention within the join, right? And the ultimate result of this method would be a string value, right? And this is, in my case, this is the value, right? If I take the nums, it will be, you can see, right? Okay, so this is how you can do this operation, right? So ultimately you got, let's say it's like a funnel, right? You provided it 10 values, and ultimately you are getting one value out of it, right, which is of string type after getting modified. But is it really having an impact on the original array? No, the original array is still intact, right? There is no impact on that part. Let me run it. Nums, right? So it also does not mutate the array. Array is still there, right? So it says nums, right? So there is no impact on the array. So array is still like how it was behaving earlier. Okay, any question on this part? Join. I hope this is very self-explanatory actually. You're just joining the elements together by a separator. Okay, sort. I will talk about sort. Leave it. Let's talk about these three things very quickly. These are very simple. It is like these are very simple. Like in case of string also, right? You had a method called include. You had a method of index of, and I think last index of, I believe, right? So let's see here also. So I have two functions. I mean, I have two arrays, one of string and one of numbers. Uh, let me do it here. So let's say I'm looking for to see whether, let's say this is the list of guests, right? List of guests which I have. Guest list. This is the guest list whom I want to invite for the party, right? And let's say I want to check whether this guest list already has a particular name. So what I'll do is I'll go there and say includes, right? I'm going to check. Let's see what it says. The element to search for, right, determines whether an array includes a certain element, returning true or false as appropriate, right? So you will ask here, let's say I'm looking for Anand to be there. So if I'm searching it and the array includes Anand, right? So it will say yes, it will return me a true value. Okay, it returned me true. Let's say I ask for Harika, right? Harika is not in the list. So what can do is I will see it says false, right? So it is giving you the output, okay, that this exists and this does not exist. Okay, so it is a way which you can check whether the particular item exists in the array or not. So very straightforward, right? And again, when you look at the method, right, you might see there are some other things also. Let's say from index. So I think by now you should be understanding this. What is from index? You can tell from which index it should start searching. By default, it starts searching from 0 only, right? Let's say I am searching Akhil, but I'm saying if I do this way, right, if I search it will say true only, right? Because I can see the item and it starts from 0 index. But let's say I'm saying, okay, don't start from 0 index, start from 1 index. So what it will do is it will ignore this value and start searching from index 1. Do I have Akhil in the from starting index from this index, right, onwards? I don't have Akhil there, right? So it will go and say false. No, it does not exist. This is similar to, right, our operation which you were seeing in the strings and the other places. Okay, so includes this does this part. So if we go back again, this is what includes is this does not mutate. We understand this part. Now let's say index of and last index of, similar methods, right? You will, let's say now, earlier till now you were just curious to know whether the item exists or not. Let's say now you want to get the index position at which the item exists, right? So let's say Akhil again, right? I'm trying to see includes. Okay, let me leave it here. So I'm saying guest list dot index of. You can read from here, right? Search element, right? Again from index also, right? It is telling you the value to locate in the array, right? And it will return you a number, the index number, right? So let's say Akhil here, and let's see what it does. It return. Okay. So Akhil, right? So if I do this now, you see you got 0 because Akhil is placed at 0 index, right? Let's say I want to start from the index position 1 to see whether Akhil exists or not. So you can see the index of method, right, from index. So this is what it will try to see. Okay, it will try to start searching from. So when I say 1, it will ignore the 0 index and search from 1 index till the end of the array. So it will search under these items. Do I have Akhil? And if you find one, it will give you the index position. But what if you are searching for an item which does not exist? Whether you do it this way, let me run it, you will get what? You get -1. If you're trying to search an item and you could not find it, right, within the array, it will return you what? -1. Okay, let me ignore this and let's type again Harika here. So what it will do is, here Harika does not exist in the list, so it will right away say -1. It does not exist, and it's an indicator for you to understand that the item which you are searching, right, does not exist. Okay, now let's say I have Akhil twice here, right? And if I try to search Akhil here within the array, which index position will it give? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Will it give 0 or 3?
First occurrence.
First occurrence, right, which is Akhil. So it will do what? Let me search it. It will say 0 here, right? And let's say I have an option, right? I know it is at 0th index. So what I can do is I can say 1, and now it will give me which index position? I'm saying to start from index 1, right? So this becomes my area of search. So now it will start searching, right? So it will see, okay, Akhil exists here. And what is this index position? This is 0,
3.
1, 2, 3, right? So now this time it will give me 3. 3, right? Let's say I don't want to do this, and I still want to find the this item, right? So for that they have given one more method, which is last index of. So it starts searching from the end, right? From there. So it will say last index of. So let's, you can see, right, this gave me an output from here, from by searching from this position, right? So it was able to find it 0, so it gave me 0, right? And this one, right, start searching from this direction to this direction, right? So it started from here, it could not find here, it find it here, right? Once it found, it started searching, it started getting the index position for it. So it came to know 0, 1, 2, 3. So it gave me 3, right? And I think here also you can have that from index position, right? So again, this is like a, sometimes it's a tongue twister, but let me write last index of. If I say 1, what will do? Let me try to see. 0, 0. Okay, it says 0 only, right? Okay, 1. It said 1. Okay, this sometimes it just does not start making sense. Okay, let me read. Returns the index of the last sequence of a specified value in array, or -1 if it is not present, which is okay. The array index at which to begin searching backwards. Searching backwards. If from index is omitted, the search starts at the last index in the array. Okay. You know what happened here? How it is happening here, right? I gave 1 here, right? So this became 1 here, right? Now, since this last index search from right to left, which is from this direction to this direction, right? When I was not giving 1, what was my area of scope? It started from here and moved from here to here, right? It was able to find Akhil because it was starting here, right? It found Akhil and it saw that the index position is 3. Now when I say 1 here, right, what it is doing is, it is saying from where I need to start. So here, right, 1 is this, right? So it will ignore all this. It will take this one, right, and start searching within this scope. It could not find here, right? It found this and it came to know, okay, this is 0. So that's why it is returning me 0 here. Okay, right? So again, it depends on your logic, what logic you want to apply. Accordingly, you can use the method. But these are the methods which we have. Okay, so I think these are very quick methods. Let me just put a tick mark. Index of and index of. So these are done. Let's explore these 4 also very quickly. Push, pop, shift, and unshift. Let's first talk about push and pop. Yeah, Harika, please.
Akhil, I tried the last index of, but I got the similar value of index of.
This
Like,
one, right?
I didn't give. Yeah, I mean, Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please. I think you can. Do you see a way to share the screen?
Allow
Let
me
me
a
stop.
moment.
Let me stop sharing. I think you should be able to see this. There is a uh, there's a present now icon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, please use that.
Mm. Can you confirm you can able to see?
Yes, I can see your screen now. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So what you're doing, you have
So
a constant fn and you have put four values, okay, and includes index of line number 5. You're saying Dheeraj 5, Dheeraj 1. So it will give you 3, right, as
yeah.
an output, which is
Yes,
okay.
it gave me the 3.
And
But
last index
when
of,
I tried, yeah, again it gave me the 3.
which is correct, right?
No, like you told it should count from right to left, right?
It will
It
search from
already
right. It will search from right to left, right? It will search from right to left.
okay.
So it started searching from Dheeraj, right? And it
Hmm.
found one, right? So it will see what is the index position of this. What is the index position of Dheeraj?
Yeah,
3
I
only,
got
right?
it now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, please stop sharing. I'll share my screen now. Okay, thank you. Screen one. Yeah. Okay, great. So, okay, now the next method, right? So let's talk about push and pop, right? What is push and pop? Okay, let's see here only, right? What is push and pop, right? We have these items here, right, in the array. Let's understand. Let's understand in the form of a list, right? So let's say this is a list, right? This is a list. You have a list here, right? And let's say this was Akhil. This is zero index. This is 1, 2, 3. So this was Anand. This was Chetan, right? Let's say, and this was Shalish. Now, if I run a pop method, right? Pop means what? Pop means delete the topmost item, right? Topmost item. What is the topmost item? Shalish, right? If you look at from this view, right? What is the last item which you have added? Shalish, right? So it will pick that and remove it from the array. So now if you do a pop operation like this, right, it will take the last value, whatever that is, right? It will take it out. Your array will now have only 3 items: Akhil, Anant, and Chetan, right? So 0, 1, 2. So this will get removed, and the output of this method, right, will return you the value which you have removed. So the if you try to print this, right, it will get you Shalish, right? Shalish. Okay, so pop means delete the item from end, right? From end. This is your end, right? Third index. Similarly, if you do a push, right? If you do a push operation, you will have to give a value here. Whatever push means addition, right? You want to push something to the array, right? Where it will be added? At the end of the array, which is here, right? So let's say it was Shailesh here, right? And I'm saying add Harika. So it will go and add Harika here, right? And now your array is not of size, let's say it is not till 3 index. It will not be now. It will have a fourth index, this 4 index also, right? So how many items you have? 5 now. So this is add operation, right? Which you're doing. Okay. And this is what push and pop is about. So in JavaScript, the arrays, right, allows you to have these methods, and you can use them to add item at the beginning and remove the item. Sorry, add the item at the end, and also remove the item from the end of the array. Okay, using these two methods. So let's go back, right? So where is it? Here again, right? So I have a guest list here. Let me comment this out. So what I want to do is I wanted to, okay, let me remove it from here first of all. Okay, so I wanted to let's say remove the item, right, from the list. So I will say guest list dot pop. Okay, if you see this, remove the last item from an array and returns it, right? If the array is empty, undefined is returned. Okay, and array is not modified. Okay, in that case, because there is nothing to modify, right? Now let's say pop here, right? If you do a pop, what will you get? Okay, what kind of items you have? Strings only, right? So if you pop, what it will do is it will find the item from the end, which is Shailesh. It will extract this out, right, and give you as an output. and also mutate, and it will also mutate the original array, right? Let me do this. So let's say const removed item is this, console.log removed item, right? And also let me print the array. It's very straightforward actually. Let's see. You see, it returned me the item which it removed, which is Shailesh. It returned me, right? So I have this, and you can see the array also got modified. The item was removed. Similar way, right? Let's say I want to add the item at the end, right? Let's say I want to add Harika here. So what I'll do is I'll just say guest list dot push, and let's see what does it do. It will, you can give the item here, right? You can give the item and it will add them, right? And you can see, right? You can also give an array of string. You can give one item, or you could give the entire array of strings over there, right? And it will add them. Okay. And what does it return in the end? Number. What is that number? Returns the new length of the array. What is the length now after this operation? Now if I see all this, my length would be 0, 1 and 2, right? So sorry, length would be 3, right? There are 3 items in the list. But if I now add Harika, okay, let me just remove this first of all. I think people should not get confused. Let me comment this out. So what is happening here is I have 4 items here, and I'm adding a new item to this, which is this thing, right? And I'm saying push. So what am I getting? Okay, first of all, this will modify the original array, right? So it will say console.log guest list. Let's run this first. You can see I have the 5th item there, right? Added in the end. Okay, and what do we get as an output of this function? You get the latest length of the array. So let's say const len equals to this, right? And if I want to print this, you can see, right? 5. It returned me 5, but earlier it was 4, right? Okay. These are the 2 methods, push and pop, right? Which you can add or remove the item from the array. Similarly, right? But try to understand what is happening here is it is doing all the things at the end of the array, which is this place, right? The whatever the end of the array is. We have 2 other methods which are shift and unshift, right? The shift and unshift, right? Now, if you use shift, right, it is similar to pop, but instead of removing the item from the end, it removes the item from the beginning. So it will now remove Akhil instead of Chalish if I do the operation. And unshift, right, it's like an add operation which you can do, but again at the beginning. So it will add the item here, right? So let's see this. So this is pop and push. Right. So let's see those methods. Guest list. Let me copy this. This is getting cumbersome. Right. So I will say what these are 4 items. I will say guest list dot shift, right? If you would read about it, it says remove the first item from the first element from the array and returns it, right? If the array is empty, undefined is returned, right? And array is not modified, which is okay. So it is shift, right? So let me just write it is removing item from beginning. So what do you expect to get as a output of this? Anyone? What should I get if I run this?
Should remove an Akhil at the top.
Okay.
The other 3 it should print that same Anand,
Like,
Chetan, and Alice.
yeah.
So
Only
the
only put
Hmm.
Akhil in the removed item.
right, and what will happen to the original array?
The length will change.
Right, it will be modified, right?
Yeah.
Let's run this. You see, I got Akhil from there. Remove the first item, and these are the remaining items in the array. So it modified the array, right? Similarly, if I do guest list dot unshift, which is to add the item, right? So I can say let's say, yeah, right. This time let's add villain, right? So I'm adding villain here, but this will be in the first position. So you can see inserts new item at the start of the array and returns the new length of the array, right? Similar to how the push was, right? This will add item at beginning. That's it, and you can get the item. So const new length, and you can print the guest list. You will get that value. Let me just comment this out. You can see, right? Oh, why it did not print it? Oh, I did not print it new length. All right. So I got 5 items now. Okay. So these are the basic operations of the arrays, right? Which you should be knowing for sure. Okay. So we covered what? We covered push. We covered unshift. We covered pop. We covered shift. So all these methods are done. Reverse is done. Concat join includes index of last index and join. Okay. Now what is pending? These 5 things are pending, right? Okay, I will ignore sort as of now because it requires some additional understanding. So let's cover it in the end. Let's discuss with this for each now. Okay. Okay. Uh, let's start discussing this. To make you understand that part, let me create a new array. Let me create a new array, and this time this would be. Let me think. Let's take some transactions, right? Let's say we have some transactions. Transactions. I have a bank account and I have made some transactions, right? So I have made some deposits and I have withdrawn some amount. So whatever I have deposit, right, I will add them with the no sign. So it means it's a positive thing, right? So let's say I have added 56 rupees, I have added 78 rupees, and then some days I have also debited the amount. So I have removed the item. I mean the amount. Let's say 89 rupees, right? I have removed. Let's say I have added again 90 rupees back, and then I removed let's say 23 rupees or 32 rupees, right, from there. So this is like the transactions which I have done on my account, and this is the amount which I have debited or credited to my account. Okay. So again, plus means added the amount, right? And when I say minus, it means removed the amount, right? Removed the amount. Okay. Now uh, let's say I have again, this is an array, right? This is an array of these numbers. Now let's say I am asking you, okay, can you please write me a logic uh, where you will skim through all the items, right, which my array has, and tell me whether it's a withdrawal or it's a credit, right, to the account. So how will you do it? Let's say you don't know about for each method, right? Let's say we are not talking about for each. Without for each, how will you do it?
Can you repeat the question, Akhil, again?
The question is, you will skim through all the items of the array one by one, okay,
Mhm.
and you will tell me whether that transaction is a credit transaction or a debit transaction. How will you know credit transaction? If you see the value as positive,
Mhm.
so it's a credit transaction. But if the value is negative, it will be a debit transaction, right? So the item, the money getting removed from the account.
We will use for loop, and in the for loop, we will provide a if condition, like if the value is greater than 0, then it's we
Mhm.
have added the amount, and if it's less than 0, then it is removed. Like
Okay, how many for loops have we covered till now?
3 types.
We have talked about 3, but we only covered 2, right? We have covered the normal for loop, right? And we have covered the off loop, right? The for off, right? Or no?
Yes.
We did, right?
I forgot actually.
We did not cover the in part, right? The for in loop, right? Because that works on objects. Okay. So again, we know about two for loops, right? Again, if people don't remember right now, okay, let me first tell you the path of it. If someone forgot about it. So for here, right? My drive, JS Bootcamp, JavaScript, and conditional statements. I think here we have something. Let's say file information details. You see for loop here, right? For of, right? So we covered for of and the for loop, right? On day 5.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
anyone wants to recollect, right, please go and watch this video and you will get to know about it. Okay. So this is what we have covered till now. Okay. We did not cover the third one, which is foreign, right? And ignore it. I'm not discussing about foreign as of now. But using those two for loops, right? I'm asking, can someone help me write the code to achieve what I just asked as a program? So if anyone is ready to help, please tell me what should I write here to form that logic using either of the for loop.
So if we use for of, then like I'm just not sure, but please correct me. When we are using for of, it works on the value, right?
Correct.
So like so first time the value of that whatever the like we are using x as a variable, so it will be assigned like const x equals to 56. Then in the second iteration, it will assign 78 to the x,
Absolutely correct. Yes, that is
and
how it will work.
similarly it will like we can then put the condition also.
Right, right. Absolutely correct. This is how it works. So tell me, how should I write now?
For const transact,
Let's say
whatever
amount,
we
right? Let me write a small
of
word amount, right? Then of
transactions.
transactions, because this is an iterable item, right? We discussed about iterable item, right? So an array is one of the iterable items. So, and now what should I do? Open
Braces
this
and
braces. Okay.
yeah, next line. If amount is greater than 0,
Greater than 0. Okay, great.
we can write return
Let's say print it out. I want to print on the screen just. Okay.
print like added,
Let's say amount
added.
credited. Okay. And
Oh,
let
yes,
me
sir.
also give the amount, right? The amount details. So amount credited of value. And what should I type here?
AMT.
AMT, right? Okay. What should I do next?
Else if amount is less than
Else if is amount
less
less
than
than 0,
0,
right?
amount debited,
Amount debited.
and else like nothing, not added or not debited.
Value debited of value this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we can also give else condition like nothing happened, like not credited, not added, debited.
Let's ignore that. Let's say that we don't have that value, right? So 0, there is no transition of 0. So let's say this is the R case, right? So if I run this, what should be the output? Anyone else apart from Harsh? If they can help me, if let's try to do a dry run of it. So what will happen with this for loop?
So
Harika,
just
or
one
yeah,
question. So
yeah,
one
yeah,
question.
Harsh.
So since we are not using else, then like should we write else if this will work, or we should remove the else if and like write else?
Okay. When it comes to if else, right? Again, we have discussed this, but this is also perfectly fine. Okay. You have a if condition. If things are as per that condition, it will go there. If it does not meet, it will go to the next else if, right? If it does not, if it works, great, it will go inside line number 61. But let's say both the conditions are not met. What it will do? Do nothing, right? And come out and move to the
Yes.
next
Exit.
iteration. That's it. So this is perfectly fine. If you wish to do something, if nothing matches, then you can put a else condition, right? So putting only if condition is also fine. Putting if else is also fine. Putting if else if is also fine. Putting if else if and else is also fine. Okay. Depends on your logic. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this will work. Okay, I was asking to Harika. Harika, do you know like what should happen now if I run this? What should be my output? Okay.
So the first value should be credited. I mean 56.
So what should be my output? Amount credited of
Amount credited of value
56, right?
56.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what it will do next then?
And again it goes and checks the next element, next index, what is present.
To 78.
Again, yeah, amount credited value of 78.
Then it will go
Again
back.
it goes to the loop 89, and it checks the value. Like since it's less than 0, it's gonna print amount debited of value 89. Again rechecks.
Then 90,
Sorry?
right? Then again it
90,
will go
and
90.
again, yeah. Again, it's
32.
gonna check that minus 32. It's gonna print the value amount debited of value. I mean,
And after 32, what will happen? It will stop.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, let's run it. Right. This is what we expected, and this is how it is working, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we know at least one way, right, of doing this kind of a program using for of loop, right? Similar thing can be achieved using the normal for loop where you work on the indexing, right? You can start from 0 index and go to the 4th index and achieve it, right? Everyone agrees, right? I hope it is not something new for anyone.
Yeah.
Right now, I am saying there is no need to do any of this. Since you're dealing with arrays, right? Arrays has an inbuilt method which helps you to iterate through the items of the arrays one by one, and that method is for each. Okay, so I'll leave it as if here only. Let me just comment this out, and we will try to achieve the same objective here, right, using that for each. Okay, let's see how. Let me just go up actually and write here. So we'll say transactions. This is the array for each, right? You see this, everyone? Now let's read this. For each method, right? First of all, you can see it accepts a callback function. Okay, it accepts a callback function. It might look like very weird. Okay, what it is asking for, right? And this argument and void and all that, right? A function, but let's understand, right? A function that accepts up to 3 arguments, right? For each calls the callback functions one time for each element in the array. Okay, performs the specified action for each element in the array. Okay, let's think about it. Let me collect all these values. Let's go to our board. I want everyone to please pay very special attention to this. Okay, because this is the basis for us to understand the remaining these methods also, because these are also working on callback functions. Okay, and so yeah, let's talk about this. Let me create the array. Okay, so what is the array? The array is of this size. Sorry, what is the array is? 56, 78. Okay, let me create. So we have an array. Look at this way, right? So I will say this is the index position. Let's say, right, index position. This is the value which is the array has. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the value at 0 is what? 56. The value at this is 78. The value here is at minus 89, 90, and minus 32. Minus 32. This is about the array, right? Nothing about for each, right? This is how the array looks like. Okay, that array which we just formed, right, of transactions looks like this, right? Index position and well. Now we are saying that we wanted to do the similar kind of objective of iterating through every element, right, of the array, which is these elements, and do that operation of finding whether the value is greater than or less than 0 and do some operations on it. So what I'm saying is go and use for each method. Okay, so you did a dot on this and you got for each, right? So as the name says, for each, so it means it will go through all the items one by one. Okay, Okay, what it will do by going to all the items one by one? What it will do? We are saying that this for each method, right, will accept one parameter, which is a callback function. Okay, a callback function, right? And what we are saying is that this callback function, right, whatever that function is, right, this function would be executed by consuming this value. Did you understood? Let me say this. Okay, so what is this callback function can look like? Okay, let me create a function. Normal function is function. Okay, function. Let's say calculate. Let's say any name, whichever you feel like. Okay, any name, and let me put the parameters which it will accept for each. Right. Let's see this. You see this part? Let me copy this if I can. No. Can I copy this? Oh yes, I can. Okay, so you can see this is, let me just place it here, right, and put it here. Right, now this is the callback function, right? You can see there are three parameters, right? Okay, which this is placed under what? This is placed under for each method, right? This is like this is telling you like what kind of input this for each method can accept, right? So it has to be of type callback function, right? So we're creating a function. Now what inputs that function can accept? It can accept three inputs. One, the value. Second, the index. And third, the array itself. Okay, so as of now, ignore these two items as of now. Okay, ignore these two items. Just work on this, the first argument, which is value. So what I'm saying is, I'm creating a function here, right? I'm creating any function, any random function, let's say anyway, right, on my JavaScript code, and I'm naming it as Kelsey, and I'm saying this will accept one value, right? Or uh, let's say num1, right? Num1. Okay, it is any variable num1, right? Now what I'm saying is that what this num1 will do is, I'm writing the logic. If I'm saying if num1 is greater than 0, then do what? Print console.log amount credited, right? And I can print the num also, right? But num1 by placing under $sign, right? I can do this. So this is how I can do it. Or else if, right, num1 less than 0, and I can do this console.log and say amount debited, right? Okay, now think about it. If I can call this Kelsey method, right, on every item, right? So first of all, if I call this method, right, by giving it as 56, what it will print? This thing. Everyone agrees? If somehow I am able to provide, right, it will run this part, right? If I give 78, it will again print this. If I give -9, it will print this, right? And if I give 90, it will again print this, and -32, it can print this, right? So this is working similar to what we were achieving through that method over there. But this time what I'm saying is I have created a method here, right? So this is a normal method, right? This is a normal function, everyone. Agree again? This is a normal function.
Yes, sir.
So I can also create an anonymous function, right? So anonymous function will look like what? I will just remove this, and this is my anonymous function. If I want, I can collect this into a variable called const, right? And call it like Kelsey1, whatever I want. This becomes what? Anonymous function, right? Can I also have create an arrow function from this? I believe you will say yes, right? So I can do something like this. I will say const Kelsey2 equals to, and instead of saying function, I will remove the function part, and I will have num1. So num1 arrow sign brackets, and I will put all of this over here, right? Agree? So this is my arrow function, right? Everyone agrees again?
Yes, sir.
Right? This is my arrow function. So again, but all three are functions, right? And are able to achieve the similar objective. It's just three different ways of writing the things. Now, what I told you about callback functions. Callback functions are those functions which are passed to some other functions, right, as an argument. And now it is up to this method to decide when it wants to call it, right? Remember, This is what we discussed. What is a callback function?
Yes.
A callback
Yes,
function.
okay.
So you can create one. Let me just revise that if someone forgot. You can create a function, right? Let's say f2, and you will say you will accept one function. Let's say f1 here, right? And if you feel like you will call it, if you don't feel like you will not call it, and how many times you want to call it, it is now all up to this method only, right? But it can accept a function. And here, right, in this terminology, who is your callback function? F1, right? This is your callback function, right? Which will be called back by this function, right? Whenever it feels like. Yes or no, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now coming back to our question, right? So we got one ready-made function, right, on the arrays. So we got transactions dot for each, and we found that this accepts a function, right, a callback function. Now what I will do is I can do something like this. Let me go back now to my code. So I will not do anything. I will just create a function now. I will say, let me create a normal function. Let me say function. Can see. Well, and let me copy the logic. Actually, I don't want to write it again. Did I remove it? No. Here, right? Let me say it as amount only. Right? So this is my function here, right? Now what I will do is, I know for each, right, here accepts what? It accepts the input, right, over here. So what I'll do is, it accepts a callback function, right? So this is my function, right? And since it accepts a callback function, I can just say Kelsey here, right? I can do this. Kelsey here, right? And I can provide what? I can do this actually. Let me think. Okay, I think I can do this. Yes, let's see actually. Let's see actually. This is not how you will write it actually. Okay, you will not be writing like this, but I just want to experiment something. Let me see. If I run it, but everyone agrees, right? Kelsey is a function which I'm passing to another function, right? So it's a callback function. And now it is up to
Yes.
for each. See, I am not the creator of for each, right? I don't know when for each will call this method, right? But it needs one input, I'm providing it. When it will call it, it's up to for each, right? And it has a logic within it, right? That if it gets a method, when it will call it, how many times it will call it, whether it will call it or not, it's all inside the logic of for each. And I'm not the creator of for each, right? So I don't know when it will happen. But I am having trust on the for each that it will do something using my method, right? That callback function, right? And that is what you can do at max, right? Because by doing this callback thing, right, you are losing the control of calling the function at your will. I am the creator of this function and I'm losing the control. I don't know when this will be called. It's like that you created a product and gave it to someone else. Whether someone else is using or not, it's not up to you, right? It is for them to decide when they will use it, right? Let me just run it. Let's see what happens here. So let's run this. Let's see. Okay, so it fails because I'm not providing in the right way. Okay, A is not defined. So what I will do is, okay. I will do something like this. A. Okay. Okay, if I do this way and I run it now, you see, it did this part, right? Okay, you might not be understanding this, but
Yes, yes, sir. Sorry to
uh-huh.
interrupt, sir. So here, when we are uh, like declaring A, so it takes value from transactions first index, right?
Right,
And then it is performing calculation on that
item,
variable number.
right, item, right.
Okay, understood.
So, actually, if we simplify, is it
is it like I mean what we write in for loop in Java, I equal to 0 and then I plus plus. So is it A is behaving like I?
I is what? Index position, right? Index
Mhm.
number. It's not the index number, it's the value itself.
Oh,
Okay, it's the value itself. Okay, let me show you like how generally you will, but you can see, right? What am I doing? What am I doing here, right? I'm creating this function here, right? And calling this way, right? Everyone agrees on this? I'm doing this way, right?
yeah.
Okay, let me show you. So this is one way of writing. Let me just put it like this. And let me create again. Let me call this again. See, I want you to be aware about all the permutation combination, right? That's why I'm showing you by different means, right? I hope it is not confusing you and it will bring more clarity, right? And it will not confuse you. Let's see here, right? Your for each, right, needs a the callback function, right? It needs a callback function. So instead of writing my this function here, right? Can't I just copy and paste it here like this?
Yes.
I can do this, right?
Yeah.
I can do this. Let me invoke this now. Let's see whether it will run or not. You see, it worked.
Correct.
It worked, right? Why it
Yeah.
worked? I'll come to that part. Okay, why it worked. I'll explain to everyone. I'm sure not everyone got this, but this is using the normal function. Yes, Harsh,
Yeah.
please.
So, sir, whenever we'll be using for each, we have to give a callback function which is like already defined, or we have to define inside the for each, right?
Yes, it could be either of the case,
Okay, sir.
right? But this is done through what I have done is we have already seen the. Okay, let me just place it here, right? This. Okay, sorry. Just a second. Let me just comment it out and place it outside also so that people can check it afterwards. So this is one way of doing it, right? And I was doing it this way. Let me bring it up. So this is one way. The second way is this, that you can pass the entire normal function as a callback function, right? And now whenever for each will feel like, it will call it, right, with the correct value. Okay, you don't know what value this for each will pass. This is one way. Second way of running things is by creating as an anonymous function. So what can I do with? Okay, sorry, what did that? Can I write the same thing as this also? Let's say, you can see, right, it will still work. Busy? It will still work, right? Let me just run it. You see, I'm still getting the output. Agree? This is through anonymous function. Now one last thing which is pending, the anonymous function. Sorry, that arrow function, right? So let me do that what also. I know that it's not completely clear to everyone, but focus on this part that I'm telling you, that you can pass the functions in whatever manner you want, right? I either of the all three, right? Normal function, anonymous function, arrow function. How do you create an arrow function? You remove function as a keyword also, right? So I'll remove it. And you put what? You put this arrow sign. Agree? This is how you create an arrow function,
Right.
right? This is how you create an arrow function. Let me run it and see whether it works or not. So you can see even this works, right? Yes, sir.
So, sir, this for each method will also work on objects, right, sir?
When you say objects, what do you
Like
mean?
we are storing objects in an array and then performing some action on that object.
Yes, yes, yes. You can have an array of objects also. It will work on that also. It can work, right? So what is your exact question?
I mean, like, sir, like while doing automation, most of the time, like for
You will be
one
dealing with
area, there are multiple.
objects.
Yes, sir. So, like when we can capture the like for single, like we are so for particular locators, we can get multiple elements. So,
Hmm.
like we can perform some assertions like if the text, this text is visible or is it editable. then perform this action on that. So like that kind of thing.
Absolutely, yes. That is what you will do, right? And that is why I'm teaching you all the methods one by one, so that you are aware about all of them. And whenever the need comes, right, you can know, you should be aware. Okay, these are the methods which I have, and I can consume them. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so the answer is yes, you can. Yeah, please.
So like that. So now we got to know like there are four types of for loop. Like three types of for loop, but there's also for each which acts
Hmm.
like a for loop also, but it takes callback function as a parameter instead of like
Hmm.
declaring a
And it
response.
works with and it works on arrays, right?
But like mostly operations, if we are doing like performing for loop, anything, most of the time we are using arrays or lists.
Mm-hmm. So
Uh, like the what is the main difference? Like where should I get to know
you
like which for
use
loop?
okay, understood. Okay, understood, right? I think you got the answer for the first two for loops right earlier in that class, right? Where to use the normal for loop and where to use for of, right? So I'll not
Yes,
go in that discussion, right? When you should when okay, now we know that if you're working on arrays, there is a very special method which that array itself has, which is for each, right? Which you can use. Okay, and it will make a lot of, and you can do the same operation using this, right? You can do that. So why will you choose this one and not for of or the normal for loop, right? This is your question.
yes. So just want to add something more. Like uh, when we use for loop, so like there's some type of complexity, time complexity. So like I got like I once I interviewed one question and one of the interview asked me this question like so there was his question like you are using for loop then it will like take like there's thousands of hundreds of thousands of data and we're performing normal for loop then it will like perform
For of
it will
and
take you so much time. So if that's the same case in for each loop also like it, time complexity and space complexity is increased.
okay. So Harsh, you are part of that Java as a bootcamp also, right?
Yes sir, but like currently I'm not getting time to
Right. So
continue
I'm
doing
just trying to answer your query, right? If again the question which you asked, right? I think you will find that answer right in the DSA module, right, of that program. Okay, where I have explained like what when do you get different kind of complexities in the big annotations, right? And let me come to the point. The point is if you're using a single for loop, right? It takes O of n complexity, right? Depending on like how many items you may have. Today you might have one item in the array. Tomorrow you could have, let's say, 1 lakh items in the array. You don't know, right? Because you don't have the control. It's that for loop will run, right? And what inputs you get, right? How many inputs you get into that array is out of your control. You're just creating a method which will work iteratively on the functions or on the input, right? And that input is an array. Today is of size 1. Tomorrow it is an infinite size, right? Or let's say 100 size, 1000, 1 lakh. It can keep on growing, right? So the point of the matter here is if you added a logic of for loop, right, in your code, as soon as you do that, right, the complexity becomes O of n. N means that the number of operations which will be done, right, to execute that piece of code is n times, right? The maximum part. Agree, Harsh?
yes sir.
Okay. So again, when someone asks you a particular program and you write up logic using the for loop, automatically the number of operations which will you will have to do, right, are n number of operations depending on how many inputs are you accepting. Okay, right? So if someone is saying that you are writing a logic using a for loop and is there a better way to do it, so you will have to think about it, right? And it is based on the context. If a particular, okay, let me give you a very quick example, right? Let's say I have an array of items. Okay, array of numbers, right? And let's say there are 100 numbers inside this, right? And I'm asking you, okay, Harsh, go and find me the sum of all the items. What will you do?
I will use the for loop and like add all the items with the iteration.
And now once you do it, right, I will say, Harsh, you have used a for loop and the find me the big O notation of this. Let's say you know this and you will say, okay, Akhil, I can see, and currently I have 5 items in the array. So at max, my for loop will run 5 times, right? You will say this only,
Yes sir.
right? Tomorrow, okay, I will say, okay, your logic is great. But what if I give 100 items to that array? So you will say it will run 100 times. Okay. Now I will say, okay, Harsh, if I give it 1 lakh items to the array, how many times your array will work? It will run 1 lakh times, right? That single
Yes.
piece of block will run 1 lakh times. Now try to understand, when you are running it with this kind of intention, right? What will happen here is your computer needs computing power, right? Whenever you run a program, it takes those resources, right, from your machine to run. Okay. And it has an impact on the overall system power, right, which you have. Okay. So what is the intention? Always to reduce that usage, right? And you can do things more quickly. So if you are taking O of n, right, as the thing, right, to run a particular logic, so people will ask you, okay, is there a better way to do it? Can we do in less number of iterations? So the answer to that question, right, to add the numbers, right, all the numbers of the array, right, and you said you will use for loop, but I'm let's say I'm a smart chap, right, and I understand, okay, there is a mathematical formula for it, which is which we would have learned, right, in our classes also in 10 12, which is finding a sum of continuous items, right, which we have. So let's say if we have 10 numbers, what we can do is in the sorted way, right? Let's say it's in a sorted array. So what you can do is you can there's a formula there. You can get the there is a formula, right? I don't remember.
Yes,
N into n plus
NS
plus
by
divide
2.
by 2, right?
Yeah.
That is what the formula is. So you can get that formula and execute that and get the output. So to run that formula, how many iterations will you use?
Just
One,
one.
right? Only
Yeah.
one. So compared to this, right, you are doing for the same program, you have like you have an array of 1 lakh items. You did 1 lakh iterations, right, to run this, whereas someone else, right, is doing only one iteration or just one processing, right, of that equation. That's it. So what my point here is, it depends, right, how much we are self-aware, right, about things, and how much practice we have done. So it will come with time, but again, the overall intention should be we should be reducing number of computations which we are doing. But it does not mean that you will avoid writing the code using for loops or any other loops, right? Because in majority of the cases, these are the only possible ways to write the code. Okay, it depends on the context and the questions which is given to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can I
Yeah,
like
please.
so like the scenario which was given to me was that you are on a web page and you have used a filter to check that the entries are in ascending order or not. So there are more like hundreds of thousands of entries, and now I have to check whether it is in sorted in correct order or not. So what I told him, like, we can make a call, like first we sort that array, like get all the items on an array and sort that array in ascending order, and then we will compare both the arrays. So like after
Mm-hmm.
that he told me like what will be the time complexity here, and like what if, so then he told me like there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of data, how many times you will compare each data using the for loop and all. So that's why, sir, I asked this question. So I
See
couldn't
again.
answer him at that time, but he said that that's okay, but
Hmm.
he didn't give me any explanation later on, because he was in a hurry. So that's why I'm asking, like, is it possible to use for each or different kind, or as you said, like like there's a method to add number of n number of number. So maybe there may be another method to to check whether all that both the arrays are same or not.
Okay. See again, right? It depends on the context and the question. So I'm not sure like what exactly was the question and what they were trying to ask, but again, just try to understand the idea, right? So there are two parts to it. One is forming the logic, and second, the discussion on the big O notation, right? So I hope big O notation you got right, and the logic it depends. I can see the exact question and maybe think about it, but yeah, that is what I can just tell you right now, right? And I think it will come with practice, right? Whatever, how many questions you solve
Yes,
and
sir.
all that, so you will get to know. I would suggest, right, what if you remember whatever that question is, go and search on the internet, right? Use Copilot to get your answer. I'm sure you will get the exact answer there itself.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
I will do that.
and once you get it, please share here also. I
All
don't
right.
get enough time to search everything, but it would be great for me also if I can get the answers from you guys. Okay,
Obviously, yes.
okay, okay, great. Okay, shall we proceed now? Okay, I'll continue, right? So, okay, just to complete, okay, I just want to wind up this for each method now. I'll not be able to cover the remaining four today, but let's wind up the for each. So, if you see, right, what I'm trying to say is this for each method, right, of the array accepts a callback function, and you can form a callback function using an arrow function also, right, like this, right? And generally, you will see this is what is happening in majority of the cases. You will be having the arrow functions only, right, being consumed. But people who see this for the first time, they might get confused. Okay, what is happening here? That's why I showed you through this step-by-step process. Okay, that you can write a separate function and call that function using this, or you could create the entire function here and pass it to this, or you could create an anonymous function and pass here. But eventually, you will see majority of the places they use arrow functions, right, to define the body of the function like this. Okay, now let's understand what is happening here. What was your transactions? Your transaction was this. Okay, uh, your transaction was this, right? Your transaction was this. So what it does is when you say transactions.for each, right, this starts, right, this for each, right, as a callback function over here, right, you can provide three inputs. Okay, three different inputs. Okay, this is first input. Let me write in the terms of a and b. A, b, and c. You can provide like a, b, and c. Okay, the first parameter, right, of this callback function always, right, always gets, see, you, what you are defining here, you're defining a function here, right? Are you defining the values to be passed to that function? Are you doing that? You're not, right? I told you there are two things: defining a function and calling a function. What did we do here? We are defining a function. Agree? We are not calling the function. Who will call the function?
For each.
For each, right? For each will call it. And when for each will call it, right, for each has the responsibility to provide the values of these parameters a, b, and c. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Right? A, B, C values will be provided by for each. Okay, now you will you can have a doubt. Okay, what values for each will provide to this a, b, and c? And can I provide another variable d, e, f to this, or I can only provide three of them like a, b, c? So the answer to that question is you can only provide three parameters: a, b, and c. Okay, so right, you can provide a, b, and c. So what will a receive? First of all, you have to understand that transaction, which is this array here, right? For each will work on one element at a time. So once it starts, right, for each will go to this element, right, 56. So the first parameter, whatever that you name you give, right, a, b, c, or amount or index and all that, right, whatever you give, whatever that is, right, let's say a here, right, you said a. What will a receive? A will receive the value. What is the value right now of a in the first iteration? Tell me.
56.
56, right? So once this for each will run for the first time, what will be the value of a? 56, right? And this is what you will receive here, right? Here, right? Let me write a here. A, A, and A, right? I hope everyone understands this part, right? So what will happen in the first iteration? A will receive what? A will receive 56 as a value. Okay? Okay. So in the same iteration, what is the value of B? What are we pass? What input is being passed to B, right? When the for each is running?
Index value of A.
Index position of that iteration, right? So what is the index position of 56?
0.
0, right? And this is what you will pass here. Okay, so if you will print it here, right, let's say index position is B, right? Let me copy this and paste it here also, right? And now what is C? C, again, what you can do is what for each does is C passes entire function, right? Entire function to it. What is your entire function? Sorry, not the function, entire array, right? Entire array. What is your entire array?
Transactions.
This entire thing, right? This is what is passed to this. So you have what you get as a capability if you use 4h's, you get access. It first of all, it will run how many times? 5 times, because you have 5 items, right? And with every iteration, right, what will happen is the value of A, B, and C, right, will change, right? So when you see A here, right, for the first iteration, what will be the value of A? 56. That is the value, right? What is the value of B? 0. And what is the value of C? The entire original array. So you will receive this as is here, right? If you want to print it, you can just write it here, right? Original array is, just to make my point clear, right? You can see from here. Now let me run this, right? And see what is happening, right? You see, let's start reading this. The first element is what? 56. So what will happen here is for each method, right? For each gets called so how many times for each will run? 5 times. First of all, this should be very clear, because these are the number of items we have in the array. 5 times, right? In the first iteration of the array, what you will get? Sorry, in the first iteration of the for loop, what you will get is you're using all three variables. So A will receive the value. So you got 56 here, right? You can see 56 being printed. Amount credited of value 56, right? It is happening based on the logic. Index position, right? Index position of what did you receive? B in that point of time? 0, right? Because this is 0 here. You can see 0 being printed. Original array. What did you got in C? The entire array itself. So you can see it printed the entire array because it is selected in C. Okay. Now again, right? So this is how it is working. So this is in the first iteration. Second iteration, once the iteration changes, right? What will be the value of A? Now this is done. Now we are on here, right? 78. So A will become 78. You can see 78. What will the value of B? Index position of 78, which is 1. Right? And C is what? The entire array, which is still the same part, right? So you get here itself, right? The same. Right? Now, okay, so this is how it works, right? You pass all three values, right? You can pass all three values. It's not that it is mandatory. No. What you can do is you can live with even A, right? Let me just copy paste this. So you can even do this A, B, C here. Let me comment this out. You can give this, right? A only. So what will happen with this? With every iteration, you are only accepting one input. And this is perfectly fine. This is allowed, right? You can just pass A, but now you do not get B and C access, right? Because you're not passing the value. So if you try to run it, it will say what? You have not defined B and C, right? Right? You are getting the error. What is B and C? It does not know. If you want to consume it, you will have to pass it from there, right? Since I am not passing it on, let me remove it. And now what will happen is it will only get the value which is for that iteration value, right? So let me run this. You can see, right? I'm getting this value. Now let's say I want the index position, right? So what I'll do is I can also say this B only, right? And this is what I can do and I will get it. So it is up to me based on my need on what things I want to work on. Generally, it's only the value. But if you are interested, you can also get the index position. That is the capability which this for each method provides you. So it provides you 3 parameters. Now read the function again, right? See here. Array as for each, right? It's a callback function which you can create. And what are the inputs you provide? The first input is the value. Second input is the index. And third input is the array itself. Okay. And now this is up to you, depending on the logic of your body, what exactly you're doing with all 3 variables. It's up to you, right? And that is the power you're getting here, right? You're receiving all the inputs. It's up to you what you want to do. Okay, is everyone getting? And you will use for each method, right? If you want to do something with all the items of the array one by one, right? And this is one of such case, right? I wanted to go through all the items of the array and wanted to see whether it's a credit operation or it's a debit operation. So I found for each to be the most relevant method for me. Okay, one last thing. What is the return type of the for each method? Did we check that? It is void. So it means it will not return you anything, right? So if I feel like doing something about it, there is nothing I can do because it's not a string. The output type is not a string. It's not an array. So I cannot change anything, right? You getting this point, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right? I hope everyone is getting this right. Please practice if you are not getting it. Please go back and try this, right? For each is very important. One more thing, right? You can see, right? I wanted to build a logic and I have written this, right? If I wanted to write much more complex logic, it's up to me. I can write whatever I feel like. Okay. Right. Tomorrow, when we will start discussing, right, we will see a method called map. Okay. A map method. So if you see map here, right? If you would see, there's a method called map. Let me see the body of this. If you see, right, map, this has the similar kind of a structure, right? It accepts the callback function. And again, the first as a value, second as the index, and third as the array. Look at the return type of it. It returns you an array. Okay, it returns you an array. Okay, so people ask me what is the difference between for each and map. You have to understand, in case of for each, right, you are not creating a new array, right? Or you are not modifying the existing array. You are just consuming the item of the array and doing something about it. That's it. Okay. But when you want to when you wanted to create a new array, right, with some transformations, then you will use what? You will use map. Okay. Then you will not use for each. So we'll talk about map tomorrow. Let's ignore this, but I just want to tell you, right? So try to understand, when you use for each, you're not building a new array or modifying an existing array. You're just dealing with all the items one by one, and whatever you want to feel to do that, you can do that. Now coming to the last question which Harsh was asking. Okay, we have seen that we can achieve the similar stuff using for of, using normal for loop, and using for each. So which one should I use? Right? That should be the logical question which everyone should have. Akhil, I have learned about 3 kind of for loops here now. 2 the basic ones, and third only specific to arrays. So which one should I use? Now, if you are understanding this, try to understand, if you're dealing with arrays and your objective can be achieved through for each, use for each always. Okay, but there is a catch. When you use for each, right, what happens here is you are guaranteeing that for loop, right, will go through the entire list of items. What does it mean? It means you cannot skip iteration. You cannot break from the loop. You cannot use a break statement here. You cannot use a continue statement here. But you can do any of that in the normal for of loop also, and in the normal for loop and normal for of loop, right? That loop, right? So if you see, right, I am saying, if let's say I am saying, okay, if I got a value, right, it should break. Let's say break. I'm doing this, right? You can see what it says. Jump target cannot cross function boundaries, right? So it will not even allow me to write this. But let me see if I'm putting in the right place or not. Where is my for of method? I wrote it where?
I guess just above it was for of.
This is for each. Did I removed it? Okay, never mind. Let me do it very quick. Oh, here, right? Here, right? Yeah. So if you see this, you see, it allowed me to write this. But if I see here, it will not allow me to write this. I cannot do a break or a continue on a for each, right? So it means if I started for each, it is guaranteed that it will run for all the iterations. But here I can control that thing, right? in the normal for loop or for of loop, right? By putting a break or a continuous statement as per my need. Okay, Harsh, I hope you got the answer for this also, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, right, so this is what I wanted to cover for today. Let's stop here, at least from my side. If anyone has any query, please feel free to ask.
Akhil, I have one question. Um, we know that arrays cannot have only one type of data type, right? It can have objects, it can have strings.
Right,
In
right.
that case, we may have some scenarios, like for example, JSON response, right? I'm testing an API and my response has a particular attribute which is an array, but within an array it has an object, and then within an object it has arrays
More
and
arrays,
more
arrays and
arrays.
objects again, nested objects, nested arrays, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
nested
it can
arrays.
is. Yes.
That in that one I want to test certain attribute or certain object key and value pair. So we can use this leverage of for each of I think map is the one which I've used a lot to get those values. But for each or for loops can be used, right? It all depends on the scenario. But do you have come across any scenarios like that? Can you just
See,
cover
again,
this?
to achieve that objective, right, of processing input, right, and doing some processing on it, right, getting some list of items in the array and processing it and doing some operations on it, right? So both the things can be achieved through map also and for each also, right? So both are capable to do both the things, right? So both are capable to do the same thing, right? The difference here is if you are interested to collect all the processed values, right, into an array, okay, into a new array, then you should use what? You should use map.
Map. Yeah.
Okay, so that you can use that processed output later also. You got the point, right? But if
Yeah.
you use for each, it will not give you a new array and you cannot hold the items,
Right.
right? It will be processed and dusted. If you want to do again the similar stuff, right, you will have to run the logic again. But with maps, right, what you do is you process it and you collect the outputs into a new array. And if you want it, right, you can reuse that new array, right, anywhere else also in your processing, right? So it depends again on the context, whatever the context is. So, but this is the basic difference between for each and map. With for each, it will compute, it will do the processing, but that's it. If you want to do the similar stuff again, you will have to call the for each again. But if you have used map, you can store the processed output into a new array and consume it whenever you feel like. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Again, tomorrow we have to discuss about map, filter, and reduce. So I think we'll see those cases there also, right? And sorting also. Sorting is also pending. Okay, but this is good, right? That we were able to cover. I really wanted to cover that callback functions being consumed in the arrays methods, and I hope this for each will give you some flavor of it. But be ready for tomorrow because all the methods which we'll be discussing tomorrow on arrays would be using callback functions only. So if someone is facing some issues, please go back and revise callback functions. Please go and revise today's session again, right? And practice this. Okay, because this is very important. And if anyone has any query, come back with the questions tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, Akhil.
Okay, man. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Let's wrap it up for here. We'll meet tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Take
Okay,
care.
well,